Boom, there we go. We're not recording. And so that's what we have going on right here. We have the class going on, and we did the Revit sandbox last week, which is just kind of learning how to use the tools in Revit, recognize what's going on there. And we're gonna build on that foundation right now tonight. We're gonna build on the foundation of how you would take an existing CAD plan and use it in Revit. So before I get into that, right, and then there's only gonna be 2 more projects. There's gonna be a custom garage project, which will take us about 3 weeks to work on. And then the final project, which is this winter project here. So we'll have that. So that's what we have going on here. So going back to where we were, going back over to here, we are going to go back and we're going to go to this right here, which is the Revit intro, sandbox, and floor plan, weeks 9 and 10. So last week I went over how basically how a house is constructed. I showed you actually slides of my own building project that I actually built in Michigan. I had a house built in Michigan. Friend built it for me. I basically drew the plans, then he did that, and so talked about the process. And we got a couple of things that we're going to put together here. One of them is this right here. I got this intro to BIM and Revit quiz. Now, again, I'm putting this all on the video, so I'm just going to give you the answers because, again, I look at these more like reviews than anything else. So I'm just going to go into this right here and talk about this, get some talking points here. So I'm going to begin this, and what I'm going to do is do this right now. Okay, so question number 1, what is the purpose of the project browser? A, it enables you to browse through the building project similar to a walkthrough. B, it is the interface for managing all the files that are required to create the complete architectural model of the building. C, it manages multiple Autodesk Revit projects as an alternative to using Windows Explorer. And D, it is used to access and manage views of the project. The answer is D. It's actually used to access and manage views of the project. So what happens right there is you've got a project, and the thing is your views are going to be your floor plans, your elevations, your sections. That's what it's used to manage right there. So that's actually D. Question 2, which parts of the interface changes according to the command you're using? The ribbon, the view control bar, options bar, properties palette. And the answer is all of the above. They all change when you are using a different command. Whatever command you're using, it's going to be changing around and working with that. Question 3, when you create a project in the Autodesk Revit software, do you work in 3D as shown on the left figure, as shown on the right in figure 157? Do you work in 3D? Okay, as shown on the right, or 2D as shown on the right. Okay, you work in 2D plans and 3D and non-view plans. You work in 3D almost all the time, and even when you're using what looks like a flat view. You work in 2D or 3D depending on how you toggle the 2D, 3D control. You work in 2D in plan and section views and 3D and isometric views. The answer is you work in 3D almost all the time when you're using what looks like a flat view. That's true. Okay, the difference between type properties and properties. The ribbon is shown here. So you got type properties, you got type properties. So what you got here is properties stores parameters that apply to the selected individual elements. Type properties store parameters that impact every element of the same type. B, property stores location parameters of an element. Type property stores the size and identity parameters. C, properties only stores parameters of the view. Type property stores parameters of model components. It's actually A, properties stores parameters that apply to the selected individual elements only. Type actually is going to refer to all of them that actually have that like that. Question 5, when you start a new project, how do you specify the base information in the new file? Transfer the base information from existing projects, select the right template for the task. The Autodesk Revit software automatically extracts the base information from the imported and linked files, or press Control-Alt-Delete. The answer is B, select the right template for the task. So we have that. Let's see how we did here. It's been a while since I've done this. I think I've got this all right. So we go there, save and submit. I will go ahead and click on OK, and let's see how we did here. Yeah, 50 out of 50 points. Each of these is worth 10 points. Okay, so I just give you the answers. So we went through this right here. Question number 1, what's the purpose and so forth. So I just went through all those. And so now you have all the answers that are actually committed. You just have to go through this. If you went through it now, that's great. If you're going to go through it later, that's cool too. But those are the answers that you have right there. All right, so that is the quiz. That is just a preview as far as how things work. Yeah, so that's one of the things that you might think a little bit surprising. You're actually working in 3D most of the time, even when it looks like you're on a flat, when it looks like you're in a flat or 2D drawing, well, you're actually usually in 3D anyway. Okay, good to have you guys all here. So we got that. So that was the BIM and Revit quiz. Went ahead and just went through that, gave the answers, and this is all on video right now. So if you missed that, you can go back and get the answers from there. So we got that. Okay, going through here, going back over to where we were. The next thing is we've got templates and so forth and Revit floor plan. We got this stuff, so we're going to put this together. What I want to do right now is I want to go through some of the content that we have been discussing that's going to be pertinent to what we have right now. So the next thing we're going to work on right here is basic sketching and modify tools. We did a little bit this last time, but when you're working with Revit, one thing that's going to happen, and we talked about this last week, is you can actually change how Revit is actually going to react as you're going through these different items right here. And one of the main things to look at is over here. I did stop the share. I don't want to do that. Okay, go to share screen over here, share it. Okay, wrong thing. What I actually want to do is go over here to annotate. I want to turn on this little highlight right here. So when we have this highlighter right here, what you're able to do is once you start a command, we saw last week that when you do this, you're actually going to have some information over here that's going to control the bottom, the base constraint, which is the bottom of a wall, and then the top constraint, how high that goes. And we changed it last week to be connecting going up to the second floor. So we did that. And then we did this, and then we saw there were also some possible tools right along here. We also saw that we could change the particular shape using a line, a rectangle, a circle, or something else. We saw those. So these are all tools we put in there. Next thing I saw was right here, the drawing aids as we worked in here. And I kind of like worked on that. The drawing aids allow us, as we're working with this, to go ahead and to create a project and create an object and go ahead with these particular temporary dimensions and actually take the temporary dimensions and override them. So just to give you a quick review as far as what I mean by that, I'm going to open up Revit real quickly here, and we'll just go ahead and work through this. By the way, Revit 2023 is now out. So that means if you download it now, you're going to be getting Revit 2023. It just came out, I think, in the last week. So it's going to be slightly different than what I have. I don't even know the changes. I haven't even used it yet. But actually, you know what? They may let you go ahead and download Revit 20. They will let you download Revit 2022. So that's actually okay. Just make sure you toggle it and change the version of 2022 if you haven't downloaded that yet. Okay. So getting into Revit right now, I just want to give a quick example here. What we worked on last week is we did this sandbox freestyle. We did this right here, and this is what you guys would have turned in. And it looks like I've got the dogs over right now. Can you guys hear the dogs? Yeah. Is that a yes? No? Okay, well, we had the dogs are my dogs here and neighbor's dog came over. Okay, so we worked on this last week. Now, one thing I want to go over here is just the basics right here. Is if I'm working on something, I could just, whenever you want to go to a floor plan view, you just double click on level 1, and now you're in floor plan view. So what I've got right here is I've got here my main structure, and what I did last week is I put in the doors and the windows and put all that together, put a roof on and a floor. So we have that. And the other thing I did want to kind of just remind us all of is if I was going to start, let's say I want to start on the project to the side of this, I can go to wall right here. When I start the wall command, one of the things that I have available to me is right up here, I can choose what kind of wall structure I want to make. So I go up here, and if I click on rectangle, I click on one point, and I click on another point, doesn't even matter what I do, and then it goes ahead and puts that together. Now, if I click on this right here, it's going to give me the size of this wall. If I want to change that to something other than 27, I go to 25. And if I click on this wall right here, same kind of thing applies. I can change that to 25 as well. So I type in 25. So the temporary dimensions let you do that. And the other thing that as you're drawing, I'm going to just get rid of that real quickly and do that, delete that. All right, so as you're drawing a wall right here, one of the things too that I'd mentioned is that as you're drawing it right here, you're going to be able to change the kinds of parameters that apply to this particular wall. Like you can change the type of wall. Like here, it's right now it's under basic wall. If I go here, basic brick wall, if I go here and use exterior and brick, I can use this. And I can say I just want to go up to level 2, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do the same kind of thing here. And I'll just go ahead and create this. As I'm going along right here, just creating it and pulling it up to something like that. Yeah, and if you get that message, that means that something happened where you actually had had a couple of items fall on top of each other. So if that happens, you can typically go ahead and use this command right here, which is trim and extended corner, which should allow me to go ahead and use that. And let's see here. Did that work? I think we can get rid of that. Right there. So I just got rid of that. You don't want to put a wall on top of a wall. Revit doesn't like that at all. So if I take a look at 3D, take a look at what that looks like. I've got this view right here. Now this one actually has a different kind of look. It's actually got a base of basically some CMU, and then it's actually got some basically 3 different layers of brick. And right up here at the top, you've got a soldier course or a sailor course, depending on how much one it is. And you have at the top, you have some kind of a concrete cap as far as what you have right there. So that is how you'd actually work with Revit as you were doing this right here. And then if you need to change something, you go here and you just override the temporary dimensions. Like type in 25, for instance, right there. Or if I want to do the same for this, I can go here and type in 25 like that. And that's measuring to the midpoint right here to the midpoint. Okay, so that's how we go ahead and do that. Now, one thing I will show you that's actually important is if I want to change this, let's say that I want to change this instead of being from the center line to center line. Let's say I want to go to the outside. If I click on this, it's going to shuffle my witness line to the different parameters. So I go ahead and click in here, it goes the inside of the wall. And when I click on it again, it goes the outside of the wall. So now it's measuring to the outside, that's 26. Then I can say, let's make that 25 feet. So wherever you place the temporary dimensions, that's what it's going to measure and give you as your particular value right there. So I went to the outside exterior face as opposed to the center line. So I went ahead and did that. So that's just kind of a basic thing that you would work with as you're working with Revit. And just to go through a little more of this. So you do have these different values right here to actually change it around. We saw the draw tools that are available. Also, Revit automatically is going to constrain you to go to 90-degree angles and so forth, but you can also specify any other angle. We saw temporary dimensions and snaps work. Alignment lines automatically help you right there. You can put in reference planes, which are something that help you to create other geometry. And if you want to do this, they actually act like guidelines. So I'll just show you real quickly how those work. This is something that you can get by with. If I go ahead and delete this, just to show you how this works, if I go to the architecture tab, reference plane, if I go here, I could actually click here and pull it straight down. Let's say I'm using this as my point. I go ahead and pull it down right there. And what I have right there is a reference plane. I'll go ahead and pull over here. There's another one. So now at that point, what I could do is if I start my wall command right here, I can say I want it to be drawn right to the inside corner here. And I can change this to be the finished face exterior. So I'll say I want the finished face exterior to start right here at that intersection. Then as I pull it up, it's actually creating this as I have that right there. So I'm able to do this, then pull it down, and again, get to the finished face exterior and then pull it across. So the beautiful thing about this right here is when you have these reference planes, they actually act as guidelines for you to actually create geometry, which is what we just did there. So that's what a reference plane is. And then let's see here, going along here further, we saw that your temporary dimensions help you to place items. You select items the same way that you do in AutoCAD by clicking and dragging your cursor. You can select from the right to the left or left to the right, and they behave just like they do in AutoCAD. You can press Control to add items or press Shift to remove them as you go through there. And we talking about sketching elements right here. You can sketch and edit elements with quite a bit of ease as you work through here. So let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quickly just to kind of go through this. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to close out of this, go to File, and I'm gonna close out of there. Do you want to say changes? No. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this particular outline right here. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put these items in right here. So I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to change my current template to Imperial Architectural. Hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a rectangle for this one right here. And that one's got to be 100 feet by 70 feet. So I go to Wall, and I'll create a rectangle like here. So I click on rectangle, click one point, click another. And then I'm going to click right there and make that 100. I don't have to type in the foot symbol. And then I'm going to go over here and make this 70. So I type in 70. And so I have those walls like that. And you'll notice right here that it drew it right to the midpoint of those. So that's how we go ahead and do that. So now I've got that in place. And so now I've got a basic wall in place there. And now what I want to do is I want to put another wall around the midpoint here. So if I go to wall again, if you hover your cursor right here, you'll notice that it does show up with these different icons. If it's a endpoint, it shows up there. If I go down here, it's a midpoint. Looks like a triangle, just like an AutoCAD. So I click it and drag it across. And I want to make that a line though. So I'll go here and I will go here to the midpoint and go straight across like this, like that. And then at that point, I've got this right there. If I take a look at it in 3D, it looks like that right now. So I got that going on. So going back to here, I'm now going to put in a wall that's circular. So to do that, I go to wall. I change my my type to circle. I go ahead and go here. I try to find the center, which is here, the midpoint. I'm going to pull that out. It's going to be 14 feet like that. And then I've got that in place. And then let's see what else am I going to do. Then I'm going to offset. I'm going to make a copy of this wall over here. I'll just make another wall that's what, 8 feet above. I guess that's what it is. Let's see here. Is that 8 feet? Yeah, it is 8 feet. So I'll go ahead and make another wall right here. And I'll make a wall 8 feet above this one. So I'll go to wall and I'll touch it here and I'll pull my cursor up. And the distance is going to be 8 feet. Try that again. Wall and touch it here. And pull it up and type in 8. Okay. Right. Wall. Right. Type in 8 for 8 feet. That's better. And I pulled straight across like this. So I got an 8-foot hallway there. Okay, I've got that. And then I'm going to create another wall right here, 16 feet apart from this one. So go here and pull it over and type in 16. And then it goes ahead and brings me there, pull it straight up like that. Now, once I've done that, I've got this basic sketching thing going on right there. So it looks like that. That's kind of the basics right there. And if I change this down here, I can actually change it to consistent colors and make it realistic. I've got that going on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put in a door. Okay, again, there's a door right there. So when you place a door, this is how you go about it. You go to door, and we talked about this last week. And I've got the single flush 36 by 84 inch door, and I want to tag it on placement. So I want that to happen. So I take the door and I place it like right around here, and I'm deliberately going to just kind of place it in a bogus place. So I've got that. And then once it's in place, you'll notice it's tagged. It says number 1. Then I'm going to change this distance to 2'6". So 2'6" like that. And when I do that, it moves the door. And then at that point, I've got this in place right here. So what I just did there is I put together a kind of quick plan right here. And if I rotate it there, you can see that door right down there. You can see the door right down there. So I've got that going on. And then I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to realistic. And I've got that going on right there. So I've got that happening. So I've got this door. Now, once I've got that going on right there, I've got some basic elements right there. So I sketched and edited some elements. Then there's some other commands: move, copy, rotate, mirror, and so forth. So I'm just going to show you how these work. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a, I'll go ahead and use the move, copy, rotate. We're going to make this work. So back over to here, first thing I'm going to do is this top of this circle right here. I want to get rid of that. So if I click on that, one of the things I can do is just use this tool right here. It looks like a red X. If I click on that, it deletes it. So then I got that in place there. And now the next thing I want to do is I want to copy this door and this door tag and this wall. I didn't do this for you guys last week, did I?
No.
Okay. So when you want to select items, I'm going to click on this wall. I'm going to hold down my control key because you have to hold your control key to select multiple objects at a time. So I go ahead and go there. I have these 3 objects that are selected. Now I have 3 objects. How do you know? You can always look over here. It'll tell you how many objects you have selected. So what I want to do right now, once you have the object selected, I can then go to the copy command, which is right here. So I click on copy, and there's going to be a little video that shows how the copy works. So you've got this right here, and you've got the copy command going there, and you're able to copy a wall like that, which is the same kind of thing we're going to do here. So I'm going to go to copy, and it asks me right down here to enter the move start point. I'm going to pick this point right here and pull it over, and that's going to be 16. All right. Then I continue to pull over again, type in 16 again, and pull over again, type in 16, pull over again, type in 16 like that. So I was able to go ahead and do that. And notice what happened to the door tags. the door tags automatically numbered sequentially, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to there. Now over here, we've used the mirror command in AutoCAD, and the mirror command would go like this, where I actually would take this object, and I'll click on this object, and then hold down my control key to click this one. And then I'm going to use is the mirror command. The mirror command is right here, where I can actually use the mirror to pick the axis. So I go to mirror, and the axis is going to be here, and it goes ahead and mirrors it just like that. I picked the wall right there, and it flipped it right over there. So these are all basic elements that we have there. And then let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, then I've got these desks right here. So I'm going to put in these desks. Now, to place these desks, I'm going to go ahead and put in a reference plane. Now, a reference plane is simply a guideline. So I'm going to start one right from here, from this midpoint here, and pull it right down. I've got one there. And then it's going to draw another one, just overlapping it somewhere like around here. So click here, not going to worry too much about it. Now I want to get it exactly placed. So when I want it exactly placed, I click on it, and it gives me these dimensions right here. So I'll click on that and type in 20 for 20 feet. And it's gonna, then it gives me this right here. So I'll go ahead and do this. So now I've got this intersection of these 2 points. You see it says 20 feet right there. So that's 20 feet from there to there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to place a component. Now components are like blocks in AutoCAD. They are elements, like we've used a few blocks here and there. But what I'm going to do here is if I go over here to my component, I'm going to go to place a component, and right here, this desk pops up. So I just go ahead and pull it in here and drop the desk in here. So to make that sit the way I want it to, I'm going to press my space bar. Space bar rotates it. And I'm going to place it right there at the intersection, right there. And that's there now. So now what I want to do is I want to move this over because it's actually not sitting the way I want it to. So I'll click on the desk and use the move command. I go to move right here. And the first thing I have to do is pick a start point. So I'll pick the midpoint of the door right there. I'll drag it over till it finds that right there. So we have that right there. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take that and we're going to create a polar array or a radial array. So to do that, I would go up here and click on the desk. And then I want to make a radial array. And this is like making a polar array in AutoCAD, which we've done. I've showed you how to do that in the hub drawing. And the array command's right here. So I click on array, and it shows how to make a linear array or a linear array. So it shows how to do this. This is going to be an array of desks. So I've got that. That's going to be built out, and go ahead and place that. And you have that happening. So I can do the same thing. I'm going to make make this over here radial. So I click on radial. I want to uncheck group and associate. And the number of items is going to be 15, like that. The angle is going to be 360. And the only thing I need to do here is I need to actually move this this rotation, actually drag this. So click on this and drag it up right to that point. And then it looks like this right here. It's ready to go like that. So I think that's what we want right there. Move to second. I think it's second. Then I'll go ahead and hit place. So place. Okay, so I've got that. And once I've got that, I'll hit my enter key. And that did not work. Okay, so I'll go ahead and undo that. Try it one more time. Redo that. I just have this. Okay, so click on this, go to array. Okay, and we'll go over here and do the array again. And we'll make it a radial array. Numbers 15. And I think I'll use last this time. The angle is 360. I don't think I did that, 360. And then I'll change the rotation. Place this right up here. All right, now that looks good there. Now at this point, I'm going to hit my enter key. All right, so for no reason it's not working. Let me try that again. Go here and do an array. Come on, multiple. Okay. Copy. Okay. Within the object. Okay. All right, actually want to do an array. Okay, numbers 15. Okay. Oh, okay. Excuse me. And so when you make a radial array, it does this. It creates a circular pattern, which is what we have right there. So I made 15 of these. I'm going to get rid of all the ones that are up here just by clicking on them and pressing my delete key, which I've got right here. And I've got that going in place right there. And then once I've got that, I'm going to take a look at it in 3D. And you got that kind of look there, looking pretty good right there, looking great. And then what you would do next is we'll go back to the level 1 view. And last thing we're going to do is actually have, okay, I don't have what the things in there, but you get the idea. That is how we go ahead and create some basic elements right there. So these are all types of elements that we have there. And you also have the ability of using a line and so forth, of aligning objects, as well as using a few other things. So I'll just do a couple more here. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put in, I'm going to use my, I'm going to create another, I'm going to create an offset of a wall here. So to do this, I'm going to go and I'm going to click on this wall here. When I click on that wall, I want to create a, let's see here. I want to create an offset. The offset's right here. So click on offset. So I'm going to select this wall, which is here. And the distance right here is set for 10 feet already, which is great. I'll go ahead and just click there. And it creates the wall 10 feet away. So that's right there. And then I can click on the wall. And if I want to change its thickness or its width, I can go here. And I'm just going to use 4 7/8 partition. So it's really thin right there. I'll do the same thing with these walls right here. They should also be a thinner wall. So I'll go to interior 4 7/8 like that. So you have that right there. And so you're able to select these walls one at a time and then change their properties. And then what I want to do is I want to do this. I want to actually trim them so that this is a large room here, this is a large room here, and this is a large room here. So I want to trim out these walls that are up there. So to do that, the trim command goes like this. I would use trim, and the trim command goes like, not trim extend, which one do I want right there? Yeah, trim multiple elements. I guess I can do it. I can do it that way too. Yeah, I'll just use trim multiple elements. I'll do that. And so I'm going to grab this reference right here. This is what I want to trim with, which is right here. So I've got that. And then I want to click on what I want to keep. So I want to keep this. I want to keep this. So you click on what you want to keep and the other part goes away. So you do that right there. And yeah, it looks like that. Okay. And let's see here. That's good. All right. Yep. And then what I want to do here with this one is I want to go ahead and I want to angle that wall off there. Let's see here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put a wall right there. So I'll go ahead and do this wall. I'm going to touch it right here and go over like 9 feet and then go straight up like this. Now at that point, I don't need this section over here. So I'm going to use my trim extended corner. So I'll use this trim extended corner. Lets me do this. You go to trim extended corner, and this little preview right here shows us what you do right there. You click on this trim right there, and that one actually extends it. But you can also do the opposite, which is like we click here and click here, and we trim out what we don't want right there. So that is how that would work there. And that wall's a little too thick, so I'll make that 4 7/8 right there, like that. Okay, and so what we got happening right now is this right here, and that's what it looks like. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what we want to get to. And then the align command is one more. Align command is very powerful. I can go ahead and grab this and pull this up a little bit so you have this to work with. And then what I want to do is I want to align this wall with that reference plane. So to do this, I click on this wall and I would use the align command. The align command is right here. So it'll align. And then when I have this right here, I want to select what I want to use for alignment, which is this. I click on that, which is what I want to align to. And then I want to click on here. I'm pressing my tab key till I find, by the way, I want you to press your tab key. It's going to cycle through the different elements. One side, okay, so right side, left side, center. So when it shows up like this, that was my tab key. I click there and it aligns it like that. That's what your align command does. It lets you align these different elements like that. And that is kind of an overview as far as how some of these tools work right there, working with additional tools, went ahead and did those right there. And these are all very interesting things that you have that you can use in AutoCAD. Now, next thing that we're going to get to. We talked about modeling walls quite a bit and putting those together. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start an architectural project. And to start this project, we're actually going to start a project, and then what we're going to do is we're going to import a CAD file. So the CAD file that we're going to import is actually right out here, which is right here. It's actually the CAD floor plan one. This is the Revit insert. So I'm going to download this because I'm going to need that. Actually, just click on it and it'll download that way. And it opens it up down there. It rather saves it. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go to the Revit floor plan one template. I'm going to use this template right here. So I'll use that. So I click on that and that downloads that template. So I want to use the Revit floor plan one template that I prepared. And I want to use the other item right here. So I'm going to close out of here and I'll go to file and I'll go to close. And when I do that, you want to say changes to project one. I will go ahead and say, you know what? I will save that. I'm going to save as, file, save as, and I'll call this one. Excuse me. Been teaching a long time and talking all day. I apologize for that. I don't know if I'm yawning. How are you guys doing? All right, I'm going to type in simple one. Simple Revit. So go ahead and drop that there. Okay, then I'm going to close out of it. All right. Now I'm going to go to new, click on new. And I'm going to change this to Imperial Architectural and click OK, like that. And then once we've done that, we are now inside here. What we're going to do at this point on level one is we want to bring in some information. I used the wrong thing. Sorry about that. I used the wrong template. Let me get out of here. I'm going to file. I'm going to close that because I used the wrong template. Instead of that, I want to go to new and I want to use the template as downloaded. So I have to browse out for it. So I'm going to browse out for that template and it's under my downloads. And it's right here. This is the Revit floor plan one template. So this is how you want to do this. Forgive me. Sorry, just kind of walk through that one and I'll hit OK. And it's going to go ahead and start this and it's going to go ahead and update it from Autodesk Revit 2018 to Autodesk Revit 2022. So it's going to go ahead and open this up. And you're going to see the same thing. So when it does that, you're good to go. Now, at this point, what I want to do is very often what you're going to do when you're working with Revit is you're going to actually use a floor plan to actually kind of like get you going, an AutoCAD floor plan. So you have this right here, and you can use AutoCAD, which is what we're going to use. And then you can use various options to link different, link and import different options, and you'll go ahead and do that. And you'll pull this in. And when you do this, you're going to basically be linking it. And then when you link it, you'll be in good shape as far as that goes. So we're going to go ahead and link that together here. So what we're going to do is to link it, I'm going to go right here and I'm going to go to view. I'll go to view and I want to go over here. Actually, I want to go to insert. It's on the insert tab. Sorry, guys, I'm not too sharp tonight. It's a little kind of a slipped a disc here, I think. So I'm going over here and I'm going to go to link CAD. You want to go to link CAD. Now, when I go to link CAD right here, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to find this. This is the floor plan one master. So I'm going to click on that. And then down here, what I want to do is I'm going to click on the current view only. This is important. Make sure it's current view only. As far as for the colors here, you know what? You can preserve those. So go ahead and leave those on for preserve. That's fine, I think. And yeah, I think that's going to get us where we need to. And then the rest should work out pretty well. So I'll hit open. Now, when I do this, boom, it gives me this right here, which is my my floor plan there. There it is. Looks good. I preserved the colors. We're good to go. Now, if you want to move this around, if you click on it, you're going to notice that there's this pin icon. That means that it's pinned in place. So you can unpin it. And then when you unpin it, you're able to go ahead and move it. And go click on it and move it and kind of place it right in the center like that, which I can do. And then once I've got that, we're good to go. So then once we have that, I could go ahead and I could pin it back down by just clicking on the pin icon right there. And that's going to do that. So now it's pinned back in place. Okay, now this is the same thing we did before. Remember, this was the floor plan we did. It was the first floor plan that we did last semester. So what we're going to do now is we are going to use our CAD Revit commands to go ahead and work over the top of this. So this actually works out beautifully. Now looking at this right now, this is going to take a few minutes. So let's just take a little break now. We typically take it at 6:50. Let's just take it now. We'll take a little 5-10 minute break and then we'll come back. So let's do that. And then I'm going to go through this. It's not going to take a long time. Tonight's not going to be a real long session. So let's just take a little break right now. We'll come back in 5 or 10 minutes and we will, and we'll take it. Let's make it 7 minutes. We'll come back in 7 minutes. We'll continue on here. So let's do that and we will continue. So I'm just going to I'm going to pause the video right now, and then we'll move on to the next thing. So pause this, Zoom recording, and we're ready to go now. Okay, so now we've got this project teed up. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, we basically done the hardest part right there. So if you need to just kind of rewind the video and go over that again, just go over it. If you have any questions, I'm certainly going to be able to help you. But next thing we're going to do is we are going to begin to draw the walls and so forth. So we imported this in there and now it's in there. That's just a flat CAD file. If I go to 3D and take a look at it, you can't even see it because it's not available in that view. So we'll be taking a look at that as we go along. So this is just the same thing we did before. So now all I have to do here, this is really what's kind of cool about this. I go to wall and right now I can just use this basic wall. Let's see here, basic wall. There's an interior wall and I think there's an exterior wall too. Let me see here. Basic wall, exterior wall. So I'll use the exterior wall. This is my 5-inch exterior wall here. So I'm just going to change this around. Then it's going to make sure that it actually goes to the outside like it's supposed to. So I'm going to go here. I'm just going to pick this point here. You can just go ahead and go there, click, and start to pull it down. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on so I can see which direction the information is going in. So I'm going to go here. And I'll try that again, pull over here. Okay, there it is. That's going to the outside. You see, if you look closely, you can see the lines going to the outside. That's because there's 2 layers going to the outside information. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over here. I'm going to stop right around here. And when I do that, it stops. And I'll go ahead and pick it up and go down here. And right down to here. And I'm just using these. I'm just tracing it. Okay, and it's going to find the corners perfectly, which is pretty darn cool. So go right around down here and it falls in perfectly in here, healing all the walls as we go along here. This is why this is such a popular approach right here. So I'm going to go to here, I'm going to go down to here. Yep, and then go over this way and stop it right there and pull it right down. And in this case, there's no close option. You just have to go ahead and put it in like that. So I went ahead and did that. And when I'm done, I just hit my escape key to finish it. Now I look at it in 3D and well, hey, there you go. That's looking like something. So I got this right here, and that's my 3D walls. And what I did is I just used a kind of like a plywood sheathing, like I think that's called T11, that kind of exterior shine. Does anyone know if that is that right? Is that T11 on the outside there typically? Is that's called? Anyone know? Nobody know? Okay, well, not a problem. So I went ahead and did that. Now, when I went ahead and did that, that actually traced these all. Now that was easy. That wasn't hard at all. We didn't have to type in any numbers. We just went along and traced it. Now we're going to do the interior walls. Interior walls are the same kind of thing. So go to wall again, and I'll go ahead and use basic wall interior. So I'll change to interior. So it's 2 different kinds of walls. So I'm teaching you through this how to use different wall types for different assignments. And the wall I have is called interior wall 5 inches. So I go there. And then just to show you how easy this works, I'll go ahead and click here and pull it right down to here and stop right there. That's done. And then I'll go ahead and continue right along here. So I'll go ahead and click in these areas. And as you go through here, just go ahead and click. And I'm just gonna go ahead and build this like this. And I'm gonna continue on here. And you don't need to stop and make any allowances for the doors. The doors will carve out their own spaces, so you don't have to worry about that. And we're just driving this along here. All right, and then right here, I'm going to put another one right here, I'll go from here and pull it right down to there, like that. All right, and I have all those walls. I'm going to do these too. And so as you do this, again, the beautiful thing about this is we're using an AutoCAD file. And we did this AutoCAD file before. I just gave you a finished version in case you couldn't find yours. So I've got that, and that is how that looks. Okay, so let's take a look at it in 3D, and ooh, look at that, pretty cool. So we got that right there. So what we're able to do is we're able to turn this into 3D. Now, at this point, you may be looking at this saying, well, man, this is a whole lot better than AutoCAD. So far, has anybody kind of like looked at Revit and said, you know, I really like this better than AutoCAD? Anyone felt that way yet?
Somewhat.
Yeah. All right. Somewhat. Anybody, I know we're just kind of learning it, but I know that my son, when I try to teach him AutoCAD after he learned Revit, he's like, "Oh, Dad, I'm not going back there." He goes, "Revit is way too cool." It's yeah. So anyway, so okay, we went ahead and did that, and we placed those. Now, the next thing we would do as we're going through here is we're going to go ahead and we're going to place the different doors and the windows. Now, the doors are all 3 feet right here, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to door, and I've got the single flush door that says 30 inches, so I have to change it to be 36. We'll use 36 by 80, 36 by 80. And we'll go ahead and pull it right to here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it right here. And it may not fit perfectly here, but that's okay. And the blocks may be a little bit off. Don't worry about that either. So go here and just make it fit right around there like that. And that goes ahead and places that. Don't worry about the, maybe we could around the room numbers. Yeah, we'll go and do that. We'll go ahead and change that room number. What the heck? We'll go ahead and make that 1. So click on that and I'll make it 1, just so that they all kind of like keep on going up. So I'll go there and I'll put in another door. So architecture, and go to door again. So I want to put that one in, and this way all these will be numbered. Okay, so go here, I'll place it right around like that. 2, I'll go ahead and place this one here. I'll drop that there, and then I can click on this little arrow to flip it. And because as you're working with Revit, you have the ability to flip the door swing. So go here, watch this again. If I want to flip the door swing, I can flip it to go inside or outside the room. And then I can also click this to flip the door swing like that. So we have that. All right, and then over here, we've got another 3-foot door right here, and that goes like this right here. Boom. And all of these door tags are going in right here. So that just makes life easier for you. And then over here, I got to flip that door swing. Then I got one more down here, and I'll take this right, place it here. And so now this is how you go ahead and do that. So now once you put those together, let's take a look at it in 3D again. We go there and hey, looking really good there, looking really prime. Okay, it's looking great. So at this point, you're getting great results as you go through here, and you're using the CAD plan as your basis. All right, now next thing we want to do is we want to put in the windows. Now here, right down here, you see there's a 4-foot window supposed to go there, and you can't see it because it's under this wall right here. So, but it's there. So there's a 4-foot wall goes right there. So I just go to window, and I've got these different windows. This is a 60-inch window right here. There's also a 48-inch window right here, 48 by 36-inch slider window. So I'll just go ahead and take this and I'll place it right in between there. I'm not going to get down on you guys as far as like if it's not placed perfectly, just get it pretty close to where it's supposed to be. And you can adjust it afterwards. So just go ahead and place it. That's 4 feet, 4 feet. Here's another 4-foot window right here. And go ahead and zoom into there. Drop that there. And there's another 4-foot window there. And then I've got a 5-foot window, got a couple 5-foot windows. So to put those in there, I'd go to window and I would change it from 48 to 60 by 36-inch slider window. And I'll go ahead and place this right in this location here. Get it kind of like right on like that. And I'll go ahead and do this here as well. Like that. Okay, so I've got those in place and we are good to go. So now I have those. So now I've got those in place, let's take a look at it in 3D again. And it's like, well, look at that. And to rotate it around, you hold the shift key down and then you hold down the wheel and you're able to rotate that around like this right here. So you go do that. Always good to be inspecting this as you go through it. Okay, that's going great, going really, really well. And now what we're going to do is we're now going to place these plumbing fixtures. Now the plumbing fixtures, I actually have several of them, and those are located over here in my family. So if I click on families down here, you'll see that I actually have some plumbing fixtures here. I got the toilet 3D, so I'll click on that. I'll go ahead and grab that toilet domestic 3D. We'll click on that. Now I'll go ahead and place the toilet. I'll go ahead and grab that. So I've got that, and then I'm going to, if I want to rotate it, I can press my space bar to rotate it. And these are typically created to find the wall. Then I'm going to grab the vanity right here, rectangular. Click on that. I'm going to pull this in, and that's right here. Oh, that looks like on the tub. I grab the tub instead. That's okay. I'll go ahead and place it right here, and we'll go ahead and find this right here. So I'm going to place this. Goes along the wall like that. So I've got that, and then I've got the vanity. So click on the vanity, and I'll open that, and I click on the vanity and just drag it in. And this has to go on this wall here. And I think, let's see, how does that go? I think that rotates the other way. So it goes like this and goes on the wall. Let's see how that looks right there. So let me take a look at it. Now to take a look at this, I'll show you like right now. If I zoom into that, that looks pretty good. I think that's exactly how it's supposed to go. So that's where that goes. And that's good right there. Okay, so once we have that in place, let's take a look at it in 3D. And when you take a look at it in 3D, we can kind of look down at the bathroom right there. And look at that, looks pretty darn good. So you got the backsplash and so forth. So you look at that, got the bowl. And you have kind of a really pretty extreme pattern there for the sink top, but that's okay. So we got that. And so you're basically putting these elements together here. So you've got that. Okay, now that we've got those things, we will save it and save the project as file, save as, and the name. Oh, let's see here. What is the name? The name is supposed to be, let me go ahead and find it here. I want to make sure you guys get this right. Make sure I get it right. All right, and go back to here, make sure I name it right. Because naming is part of it. Some of you lost some points over that. And so I'm going to go here and name it Revit Floor Plan 1 with your last name. Revit Floor Plan 1 with your last name. So here, and I'll go ahead and go here and make Revit Floor Plan 1 with your name. Revit Floor Plan 1. That, boom, there it is. Okay, so that looks good. Now, the only two things I have to do now to finish it are to put in a concrete floor. So to do that, I go here to floor. We did this last week. I'll go to floor. And then I got the generic floor. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my pick walls right here. Pick walls is the default. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pick out these walls 1, 2, and it's creating a magenta polyline, just like we talked about. And this one I shouldn't have to edit. So I'm just going to go around the perimeter. This is the floor. And I go around and around until I get to there. When I'm done, I click the green check mark and let's see how that looks. And that looks great. That's just a plain slab, which is what we wanted right there. So I got a nice slab that's right there. And that was easy to do. And then back to level 1, last thing we're gonna do is put on a roof. Now the roof here, a little bit tricky, but not terribly tricky. And what we're going to do is we are going to place the roof. Let's see here, this. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go to my roof. So I'll go to roof, and we're going to make a roof by footprint. Now the roof by footprint, yes, it says you want to create it on level 2. The answer is yes. And we're going to go ahead and create an overhang here of 1 foot like this. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to let it define a slope. And then we're going to go ahead and pick the walls. So I'm going to hover my cursor here, and it's going to create a wall out there. And all these are going to have slopes. So I'm going to have to go through and fix these. But for right now, we'll just let them all have slopes. Just because it's a little easier than going back and forth and explaining it. So I'll just do that. We'll give them all slopes and then we'll correct it. So I created that. What's it look like? Looks like that there, which is, you know, kind of goofy. It is a roof, but that's probably not what we want. So we're gonna refine it a little bit here. So to do that, we are going to do the following. We're going to go over here and yeah, we're going to go over here and we're going to go to level 2. Okay, because level 2 will let us see this roof. So we'll go to level 2 and you see the roof and we click on the edge of it. Click on the edge of it right there. Now, once you get into this, whenever you're working with Revit, you always, if you want to edit a footprint, edit any kind of boundary, you go here and click on this, and it gives you the magenta polygon, which is what we're after. So a couple things we're going to do first of all. First of all, I'm going to take the slope off of this front because it doesn't belong there. So I'm going to click the slope there, and I'm going to go uncheck this so it doesn't define the slope anymore. That's the first thing. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take this off so that does not define a slope. Then I'm going to go over here so that this one doesn't define a slope. So I'll uncheck that. So that also doesn't define a slope. And I think we're good to go. I'm going to hit my green check mark. Let's see how that comes out. And we'll see how that looks. Let's go ahead and take a look at it in 3D. And yeah, that's what we wanted right there. Now that's kind of a little bit of a steep roof pitch, but it's not terrible. And then what I want to do is I want to take each of the walls and I want to extend them up. So I click on this wall right here. And I would go ahead and use this attach top base, and I select the roof, and it attaches that. And over here, you're going to notice this little nook here. That's problematic, so I got to click on this wall, and I'll go to attach top base. I'll go here and do that. So click on this, and you notice it heals that right there. And all of these are going to need the same treatment. So go to this one, I'll attach this one, go to there, like that. And yeah, so this is how we go through this, attach top base, and I keep on clicking the roof. And you can see it keeps on extending it. So it keeps on, you know, improving this as we go through it. I'll go ahead and go here. How are we doing over there? That looks pretty good. So I'll click here and I'll extend this one up to attach top base right there. Boom, like that. And then at that point, I've got this. That one didn't go up, so I have to go there and click on that, attach top base. And you just got to kind of look at this and make sure the different items did get up there. Now this one, I'm missing one right here. You see this little notch. So he just takes a little bit of an eagle eye. I will be paying attention to that when I grade that. So I've got that. And yeah, that looks pretty darn good. And the thing is, so now at that point, you're looking good. And then at that point, you now have a house with a proper gabled porch. And then you have this very simple, but it's what we had created. So now at this point, that is what you want. The only thing you want to do, if you want to refine it, if you click on this roof right here, you can click on the roof and change the type right here. And over here, you've got wood rafter, 8-inch asphalt shingle. You want to do that. That's a good thing to do too. And then that's all you have to do. That's it. That is what this project is. It's not a difficult project. You guys are going to knock this out in very little time. But again, what I'm trying to do is build this foundation. So I want you guys to do this. Next week, we're going to take it a little bit further. But these are the basic skills that you're going to be working on right now. So we're going to work on this. And the next week, we're going to a little bit further and going to be building a custom garage, which is pretty darn cool. So that is what I've got. That is what you're going to produce. And that is what you're going to hand in next week. And we go back to level 1 just for a second. Make sure you miss it. Oh, I missed a 5-foot window right there. Thought so. So I need to put in that 5-foot window. So I'll go to window and 60 by 36. I'll go ahead and place that. And we'll go there. Boom, like that. And at that point, we'll leave it there. And yeah, that's supposed to be it. Okay, that's that. Okay, so I'll go back to 3D and then I've got that right there. And that's how it should look. And that's all I'm looking for this next week. That is the project. And so you want to save that. And that's what you're going to hand in. So again, what we're doing is we're taking the step further. We talked a little bit about some of the basic sketching and construction techniques. And then we saw how to import a CAD file. The CAD file is one that you're going to download from Blackboard. You're going to use that as your foundation. And that is what we're going to work on for that right there. So that's what we have going on there. And that's what you're going to do there. So that's all I got for tonight. Okay. And then next week, we're going to get into custom garage. It's going to go, there's going to be a little bit more next couple of weeks. We're going to be doing that. And then we'll work on the final garage project. So all this is building a foundation for us to be successful with this right here. So that's all I have. I'm going to go ahead and going to end the video because that's all I've got. That's the bonus content that we have. And we'll go ahead and do this, stop recording that.